Hello everyone, my name is Olivia and welcome to a new vlog where I try and do a ton of reading because I'm going to take a whole week off of social media. After seeing Ariel Bassette's video where she took a week off of social media, I got really inspired because my screen time is astronomical. I really don't want to tell you my average because it's absolutely ridiculous, but I've realized that while I am at home and while I'm trying to find ways to occupy my time, I have spent a ton of time scrolling. So I began to think that if I scroll through social media, I can not only entertain myself, but kind of live vicariously through other people's lives while they're doing exciting things, maybe in their backyard or at a park or something like that. So I've been scrolling so much and I've been wanting to cut back on the average screen time that I have. And I thought, what better way to do that than taking a week off of social media in hopes that it will help me gain some habits to not check my phone as often, because I have like this reflex where I just check my phone every couple of minutes or so. I don't even know, I just open it and I'm just like, why did I check my phone? I don't know. Is it to check social media? Is it just to occupy my time? Am I just an easily distracted person? I don't know. So this week I'm going to experiment by not using social media. So hopefully I can read a ton of books within this time. I'm also doing this with my friend Jessica. Hopefully this will cleanse my mind, help me relax, help me do some other hobbies that I've been meaning to do, but I've been preoccupying my time with social media and scrolling, and I can use those hours spent on my phone on something much more productive. So hopefully this week is a success. What I've done to cut back on my screen time is setting up downtime on my phone. So basically I set it up from 8 a.m. to midnight, so basically the whole entire day. That way I can't check social media. The apps are locked. And I did it this way because I don't like deleting apps because I have a lot of drafts saved, so I didn't want to lose any of that by deleting the apps. So rather than deleting them entirely, I just locked them and put them on a completely different page from my regular apps that I will use. So that way I don't check it as often. So I also moved Libby to the forefront of my phone, and I am currently reading Queenie by Candice Carty-Williams. I am 64% through, and it is such a wonderful audiobook and book in general. Queenie is about a girl named Queenie, and she just went through a breakup with her boyfriend Tom, who wanted to go on a break, and she kind of gets into a very self-destructive pattern because she can't really deal with the fact that her boyfriend, who she thought she would marry, is trying to break up with her subtly. So she gets into very self-destructive patterns by hooking up with strangers and just not really caring about her job. And I would say if you are a fan of Fleabag in terms of that dark comedy and a 20-something-year-old dealing with these very dark issues in her life, and she's dealing with it very messily, I would highly recommend Queenie. It is absolutely wonderful. So much has already happened and I'm only 64% through, so I can't even imagine how this book will end. I guess it would be like a very big character study. It's not really plot driven, it's mostly just about Queenie's life and the way that she's coping with very big life changes. And I really love her character. She's very outspoken. It speaks a lot about current issues like gentrification in England and also the Black Lives Matter movement and how she's reacting to it outside of America. So it is absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to read more of it. So my mom and I went to Lowe's, we wore masks, we were safe, and we tried to get a planter for my new plant, a fiddly fig, which I named Humphrey Bogart. He's handsome, he's beautiful, he's thriving, but it turns out that everyone had the same exact idea of getting planters for their new plants, and there are no planters whatsoever. We went to multiple stores to try and find one, and there is none. So I think we're gonna have to order it online, so that was a bust. But I did listen to some Queenie on the way while my mom went into stores to check if they even had planters. I think I only read one more chapter, but it is still amazing. But now I'm going to read my physical book, which I realize I do not have with me at the moment, so let me go get that. So the physical book that I am going to start now is Our Lady of the Nile. I got this in an Alignist box. Alignist is a subscription service that they let me try out. They feature a different country every single month, so the box that I got was the Rwanda box. So they not only feature a book by a Rwandan author, but they also feature products created by people from Rwanda. So their box is really cool if you want to get diverse books and also support local businesses in those specific countries that they are highlighting. I will link their website down below. So this is about a group of girls in a Catholic school, and this is set 15 years prior to the Rwandan genocide. So I think it's just featuring these girls as they grow up and grow older and like the things that come along with growing older, and it's also talking about the tension that is mounting in this country right before the genocide actually happens. And I think I mentioned in a previous video that I really want to read more diverse historical fiction, and Scholastique Mukasonga is a very big author that a lot of people told me is a wonderful writer, so I'm sure I'm going to absolutely love it. And it's also a translated work. It is translated from French by Melanie Monther, and I did want to start reading more translated works. I posted about it on my Instagram a couple of weeks ago if I could get a ton of translated work recommendations, and so many people sent me so many recommendations, so I'm so glad that I can read one that was actually on my TBR that I didn't know was translated. And welcome to day 2 of not using social media. I did go on YouTube to schedule a video, but that's all I've done so far with using social media because I did want to post that today on Tuesday. But I am about 80% through Queenie. It is wonderful, and I am also 110 pages into Our Lady of the Nile. That one is a very slow-moving historical fiction. It's very dense, and I'm not enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying Queenie. Obviously, they are different in terms of content and genre, but in terms of enjoyment, I'm enjoying Queenie much more. So after I finish Queenie, I don't have an audiobook to listen to, so I think I'm just going to pick an audiobook that doesn't have any holds on it because I use Libby, which is connected to my library, so I have to wait for certain books to get off hold. I feel like I've gone on such a journey with Queenie, and I just love her character so much. She's definitely one of my favorite characters that I've read about in 2020. Quick correction, I am actually 130 pages into Our Lady of the Nile. I only have 110 pages left, so hopefully I can finish this today. I think I can, because I read 130 pages yesterday, so Here's the hoping. So I just finished Our Lady of the Nile, and sadly compared to my other current read, I did not enjoy it. It was a very dry book, and I feel like the structure overall just wasn't driving well with me because the story was a lot of build-up, it was a lot of dry descriptions, and it's only in the last chapter that the book finally hit its climax. And I feel like if that were to be in the middle of the book, it would have worked so much better. I feel like my interest peaked right at the last chapter and then it just ended. So I think the structure and just like the writing style overall wasn't something that I jived with. I found it to be very dry, and yeah, I finished it. I'm also currently 81% through Queenie, so I think I could finish that either tonight or tomorrow. So I don't know what I'm going to read next. I think I'm going to read The Angel's Game by Carlos Ruiz Zafon, and that is one of my big books that I wanted to read this year. I have a list of books that I made a whole video about where they are the biggest books on my TBR that I want to read because I am scared of big books. So maybe I can start that this week. I know I'm not going to finish it this week because I do read big books slowly, but I can start it this week. So I did finish one book so far this week of not using social media. So it is almost time for my online class. But before my class starts, I want to tell you about my new current read, which is The Angel's Game. This is one of those books that I said were pretty long and I was intimidated by it. It is 530 pages around, and it is a part of the Shadow of the Wind series. This is actually the prequel. I think I previously said in a video that it was a sequel, but it is the prequel to the Shadow of the Wind. It deals with the Cemetery of Forgotten Books. So far this is about a man who works at a newspaper, and it's a very strict newspaper and it has a very strict editor, and he finally gets the opportunity to share his gritty and dark crime stories in the newspaper, and that's all I'm up to so far. I'm only like 15 pages in, but it is just written so beautifully. I missed Zafon's writing so much, and I am so glad I'm diving back into his books again. And I know this is going to be a 5 out of 5 star read for me because I love The Shadow of the Wind. It's one of my favorite books ever, so this is sure to knock it out of the park. So hopefully I can read it this week, but I just wanted to tell you about that before my class started. So I have a lemonade that my mom made me, and I have my book to read for a couple minutes before class, and hopefully this class goes well. I also forgot to update you on my social media usage. I checked Instagram today. I don't even know why I checked it today, but I checked the app today and I did watch a couple of YouTube videos, but that was just for entertainment of it all. But yeah, I checked Instagram and I checked Twitter once, and I need to not do that. It's my day off. It's my week off of social media. Why am I checking it? There's nothing to check. Nobody's missing me. I should just be enjoying my time off and stop checking something that I have negative feelings towards. Like, social media is a place where I can connect with people, but it's also a place where I compare myself a lot and I feel bad because I'm not having as much fun as everyone else, and I'm not doing cool things like other people are doing, and other people are booming with their numbers and their channels and their profiles, and I'm not booming with my profile. So I have to stop comparing myself to that, and that's mainly why I wanted to do this break in the first place. So hopefully tomorrow I don't check Instagram and I don't check Twitter, and I just enjoy my day off. I just finished Queenie and it was so amazing. I think it's one of my favorite reads of 2020. It was just so authentic and raw in showing a 20-something's life where she's making mistakes and she's dealing with her mental health issues. She's dealing with overt racism and covert racism, both in and out of her workplace. She is dealing with being dependent on others for her own validation, and it's just like it explores so many different aspects of being a woman and an adult, and it was just so well written, and I highly recommend the audiobook because the narrator is wonderful. She's very entertaining to listen to, and it felt like a show in my mind, but I could see like how it would drag on if you were to read it physically because it's a pretty long book in exploring one character's life. It's like a character study. I like exploring characters' lives more than a plot line, so just learning more about Queenie, seeing her develop as a character, and just seeing her go through her trials and tribulations was so authentic. Like, I think I said it before in a previous clip, it reminded me a lot of Fleabag in the way that it's a dark yet comedic type of exploration of a woman's life. Now I'm going to make my bed because I have to change my sheets, I have to put laundry away, and then I'm going to read The Angel's Game downstairs. I didn't read a lot because today I was doing a lot of digital art, but I'm up to page 40 of The Angel's Game, and the characters from The Shadow of the Wind were mentioned, and it just like makes my heart so happy to see those characters mentioned in this book and see them come full circle. It just makes me happy. All day reading The Angel's Game, and I am so close to finishing. I only have 130 pages left, so I'm hoping I can finish it on Sunday. I did not expect to speed through this book as quickly as I did because I tend to read long books very slowly because there's a lot of information to take in, but I have just been devouring this book. It is so wonderful. It's not as gripping and mysterious as The Shadow of the Wind, but it's still a very interesting, very beautifully written novel, and it's just so amazing. I have been highlighting so many different passages, both beautiful quotes and just beautiful writing in general. The way that Carlos just describes certain sceneries and uses different metaphors to describe such mundane things in a beautiful way is awe-inspiring. So I've been highlighting a lot in this novel, and I just cannot wait to see how it's going to end because I can't even imagine how it's going to end. I'm very excited to finish this, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to finish this so quickly. And it kind of makes me want to tackle more of the longer books on my TBR because now I don't feel as intimidated by them, and I feel like I could finish them pretty quickly because I always have this thought in my mind that it's going to take me like months and months to finish one book if it's a really long book, but this one has just completely sucked me right in, and I'm basically going to finish it within a week, which I'm very proud of. And I also want to tell you about a thing that I got in the mail today, and I got the graphic novel for The Great Gatsby in the mail, and this was provided to me by Scribner, so thank you so much to them. This is one of the books that I mentioned in my most anticipated books of 2020 video. It is a book that I am so excited for. We all know I love The Great Gatsby, and I am so excited to pick this up. My mom is actually reading it while I'm reading The Angel's Game, and she's really enjoying it. She's never read The Great Gatsby before, so this is a really cool way for her to read the story in a very different format, and I'm I'm just excited to dive into this soon after finishing The Angel's Game, and I'm just so excited to read this. I know there's another Great Gatsby graphic novel that's coming out in 2021. I'm also planning on getting that because I just want to collect as many editions of The Great Gatsby that interests me. I finally finished The Angel's Game, and I'm so proud that I finished one of the books that I mentioned in my long books video, and it was definitely one of my favorite reads of 2020 in terms of the beautiful writing style. It was so atmospheric, and just the way that Carlos Ruiz Zafon just narrates his stories, the way that he plays with words, the way that he's so lyrical in every single paragraph is awe-inspiring. Like, I just cannot compare his writing to anyone else's because it's so beautiful and so unique in itself. It gave me the same mysterious and autumnal vibes that The Shadow of the Wind gave me in terms of the darkness of the story, and this one is much more of a psychological thriller in the way where it's kind of similar to Shutter Island, where the main character believes in these certain facts and everyone else around him is like, those things aren't real, you're losing your mind. And it's just so well written. The plot is so intricate because it has such a large cast of characters, and the way that all those characters are interconnected with each other is amazing. I absolutely loved it, and I just highly recommend it. So I ordered the third book in this series from the Strand bookstore, which is my favorite bookstore ever in New York City, and that should be coming in the mail soon. So hopefully I can finish that one soon because I really want to get to it and then get to the fourth book, which is 800 pages long. Like, I thought that this book was a big book, but wait until I get my hands on the fourth book. I'm going to lose my mind. And now I'm going to read the Great Gatsby graphic novel that I just received yesterday because I really want to just dive into the story, no pun intended. And I'm just so excited to see the art style and the way that they adapted the story into a graphic novel. And as for my social media usage, I have checked Twitter and Instagram a couple of times, but it's nothing compared to how often I scrolled on my phone endlessly for hours and hours before this challenge, before this week started. And my screen time average actually came in today and it told me I was 26% down in terms of the hourly screen time average that they give you at the end of every week. And I am so proud of myself for getting that down 26%. I couldn't have gotten it down 100% because I did use my phone for YouTube, for my audiobook, and just for Googling a lot of things, because you Google so much throughout the day if you don't realize it. And I am just so glad that I took this week to just kind of not really check social media. It was such a cleansing experience. It felt like I was on vacation while still being at home, because when I'm on vacation, I never really check my phone. It's just such a wonderful time to disconnect and just really center your mind on other things other than social media. And it just made me realize how much I don't really need to check social media, because most of the time it just makes me sad or anxious, and I should really prioritize my time and really take into account how I'm using my time throughout the day. So I think after this week, I'm definitely going to check Twitter less, I'm going to check Instagram less, and I'm going to implement those little features where after you use a certain app for an hour, it will lock down and you won't be able to use it again, because that will help me limit my screen time and help me prioritize how I'm using my phone. So I'm really glad I started this challenge, and I'm really glad that I kept through it for the week. It's kind of like a little reading rush for myself, and I have been enjoying this time so much. So if you're ever overwhelmed by social media, or if you ever feel like you're checking your phone too much, maybe take out a couple of days in your week to just not check your phone, or just lock down those social media apps. It's such a great way to clear your mind and set your priorities and realize how much you do pick up your phone and check your phone. Because if you want to help curb that habit, this little challenge is really fun. on. And now I get to that really exciting part where I get to put my book on its respective place on my shelf. So I'm going to put it in the translated works section of my bookshelf. So I have a little collection here that I'm starting, and now I get to add this book to the collection.